Orchids are some of the most numerous, most diverse, and most appreciated of all flowers. Surprisingly, many species are genetically compatible. Sometimes, even species belonging to different genuses are compatible. This is what allows us to create such spectacular hybrids. So, naturally, we want to multiply our plants, make our own hybrids, or even produce new plants of the natural species, improving their shapes and coming up with new color variants. But these pretty plants have secrets and demands of their own. Their reproductive cycle is not at all similar to that of most plants. Sowing orchids is nothing like planting corn seeds. Unlike the corn seeds, or those of other flowering plants, the orchid seeds have no energy reserves to make germination possible. They're extremely small, almost microscopic. They only carry their genetic information in a tiny embryo inside a small protective capsule. Each fruit from an orchid can carry millions of seeds. Together, they look just like a fine dust. If they land on good substrate, after being carried by the wind, they still cannot germinate on their own, using their own resources. They must rely on some deal of luck and meet some fungus of the right type to associate with in a symbiotic relation called mycorrhiza. This is a complex relationship where the fungi break down nutrients from the substrate, then colonize the embryonic cells of the plant where the nutrients are finally absorbed. Although the odds for such fortuitous encounter are not really the greatest, among millions of seed per fruit, at least a few dozen of them just might have a chance. In the wild, this is how orchids multiply, and we call it symbiotic reproduction. There are some methods of doing symbiotic reproduction at home using small, transparent plastic containers. The method, devised by Adriano Isao, is very ingenious and is thoroughly described in his YouTube channel. The resulting number of viable seedlings is anybody's guess, but it is cheap, easy, and fun to do. It is an interesting experiment for the home grower to try. There is another method of sowing orchid seeds that doesn't use the fungus to promote seed germination. It is a process done in labs, inside flasks on sterile medium, containing all the nutrients that a seed needs to begin germinating. This is the method most professional nurseries use to propagate orchids by seed. It is the most productive and the most reliable process. Easier said than done, the professionals have to invest money in equipment, materials, training and hiring staff to achieve good and consistent results. That may sound intimidating to the home grower. It doesn't seem like something we can do in the kitchen. I'm not gonna lie, it's not a simple task, but it is super possible, especially for those who are persistent, dedicated, and very patient. Really, very, very patient. We have to get over some failures at first. We have to practice, persist. Then, if all goes well, you'll have to wait from 3 up to 6 or 7 years before you see the first flowers. Indeed, it takes a whole lot of patience. But the prize is always worth it. Your very own unique hybrids or a nice stock of plants for sale, plus lots of fun during the process. This is a video series where we will see how to produce, crop and cultivate the seeds of orchids by the home grower in the home setting. We will talk about crossbreeding, the pollination, cropping and sowing, the jars, the media, and everything else about asymbiotic in vitro orchid seed culture. More than that, we will also refer you to some other YouTube channels where we think you can learn yet a bit more. If you subscribe, and it's free, YouTube will let you know every time we post a new episode.